This guitar is a vintage National Trojan, wood body, single cone, 14 fret neck, slotted headstock. It was built sometime in the 1930s, so the song that I was just playing on it, Blind Willie McTell's Statesboro Blues, would have come out just a few years before in 1928. Statesboro Blues is one of the all-time classic 12-bar blues from the pre-war period. It's good to know a variety of 12-bar blues and 8-bar blues tunes, and I've put together a PDF you can download called The 5 8-Bar Blues You Should Know, which includes notation and tab for classic tunes like Key to the Highway, You Got to Move, How Long Blues, and more. Check that out at the link below or the link on screen. In today's video, I'm going to tell you more about this particular National and what I've been using it for, where I got it, and what makes it different from the newer National Estralita that I also play. Okay, so I didn't own a National for the longest time. I learned to play slide on my old Yamaha guitar, and then later I had my Martin set up so that it could split the difference and I could play either slide or standard guitar on it. I've never liked super paper thin action anyway. I tend to dig in pretty hard with my right hand when I play, and if the action's too low or the strings are too light, everything starts to snap. So, and still kind of snaps anyway sometimes, but I like to have a little bit of string tension. I use a set of 12s, just regular phosphor bronze, mostly John Pierce strings. I've been using them for years and years. And so that's probably what this has on it. And so when I got a National, I also wanted to be able to both play standard, just regular fretting, and slide on it. This particular guitar I got at a place called, I think I said before it was One World Music. It probably was actually called One World Guitars. I can't remember. I had moved to Austin in 2000 and of course went around to all the guitar stores because that's what you do. And I found this one and it was cosmetically in really good shape. I mean, a lot of them, you know, they've got like people's names carved in the back. They're totally scratched up or they're dinged, whatever. For a guitar made in the 30s, it was in incredibly good shape. But the action was terrible. And so I basically knew it was going to need a reset. And so the owner of One World was really cool and was like, yeah, you know, you're going to need to reset that. So let's charge you this, which was, it was incredibly reasonable even in 2000. And I took it to a luthier here in Austin named Bill Gibbets. And he did a killer neck reset. And, you know, I haven't really had a touch since then. So it has always played really nicely ever since the neck reset. And it'll work lovely for slide, and it also is still completely playable if you want to just play a regular fretted guitar on it. So unlike my newer Estralita, which has a 12 fret neck, this one actually has a full 14 frets. And so, especially if you're going to play slide, it's nice to be able to get up to the 12th fret and not be like, you know, just running out of room there because that's where the body's joining. So it's actually really great in that respect. And then for standard guitar, it actually has a relatively warm and woody kind of sound. It's not super bright. It's not quite as sort of rounded as a tricone, but I think it's actually a lot warmer than some of the metal body ones that I've played. I haven't, you know, exhaustively done a ton of comparing and contrasting. I found this one, I liked it, I got it set up, I played it a bunch. I never actually put pickups in it. I've always just played it on a mic. And I probably played it live for maybe 3 or 4 years, 5 years tops. When I got the Estralita, it had a Highlander pickup put in it. And so I took that out when I was playing on the road or going someplace where I needed to be amplified. But for just sitting around and playing, especially for recording, this guitar has been fantastic. It's a lot like the Martin 00 that I play in the sense that it's got a great sound in the room. And so just to put a mic in front of it, it sounds really, really amazing. One of the more surprising things this guitar has turned out to be good for over the years is when I've been recording, things that I thought would need an arch top, like sort of an early jazz thing or even a gypsy jazz sort of thing. This seemed to work better instead for things like or this, or even somehow better than whatever archtop I had on hand, and certainly better than flat top, even a guitar that is as nice as that 00 that I play. Somehow this had the right kind of quality, and you wouldn't get the request for that kind of sound and think, oh yeah, I'll play it on a National. But somehow it seemed to deliver the kind of sound that was required. And of course, it sounds great for slide as well. Right now, I've just retuned to open D tuning, D-A-D, F-sharp A-D. And this is a moonshine slide. I love these slides. I've been using them for a really long time. And, the same kind of tunes I'd play in standard tuning, I would play them in open tuning as well, like this one. So that's the melody to You Got to Move, which is actually one of the 5 tunes I teach in the new PDF, the 5 8-bar blues you should know. I got a lot of comments from people about this whole business with the strap, because in the Estralita video, I talked about how I've taken off the strap so I can palm mute. And this one, I won't be able to do that unless I replace the cone and, replace the cover plate and get a new one that has the screws where you can take this piece off. And I heard both from people who have done that, gotten a new replacement cover that has the removable strap, and also from people who said, the strap's there for a reason. It's so you don't put too much pressure on the bridge and, basically put so much pressure on either like the saddle or the biscuit or both that you squash and compress and destroy the cone underneath. So I'm sure that's totally valid. On the Estralita, at least, I'll take my chances, because worst case scenario, I can probably just replace the cone if I need to, even though that's not a great alternative. Okay, so just to bring things full circle, here's a standard tuning arrangement of the same song, You Got to Move. Back in standard tuning, and I'm going to play this in the key of E. You Got to Move is one of the 5 songs on my new PDF, the 5 8-bar blues you should know. So if you'd like to get the tab for this standard tuning arrangement of You Got to Move, check that out at the link below or the link on screen. But here's the standard tuning version. And of course, you could also, besides playing like this sort of steady bass accompaniment, there's a few different ways you could do it. You could do the sort of stop time feel I did with the slide, where you're playing. You could do the steady bass like I just did, where you're carrying through on all the beats. And you could even do a shuffle groove with your thumb. So you're playing. Which is one way to kind of tame the fact that you can't really palm mute. All right, so that is the story on my 1930s National Trojan. Go check out the 5 8-bar blues you should know, and I'll put a link down below to the previous video about the National Estralita as well. If you got a question or a comment about today's video, leave it for me down below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.